how to look confident on camera. Today, we're talking with a Las Vegas trained performance coach on the secret to your best performance on camera. We've got an amazing show today, folks, so stick around.
You're listening to the Business of Video podcast, where the world's top YouTubers and marketers talk about what's working with online video. This podcast is recorded live on Facebook every week, and you can join us when you visit businessofvideopodcast.com. Now your host, Owen Video.
Welcome back to the Business of Video podcast. I'm Owen Video, your coach for the business and marketing of online video. I'm joined today, as usual, by my outstanding friend, 14 arrests and no convictions. Broadcasting live from a secret location, it's Nick Nimmin, everybody.
Woo! What's going on, Owen?
Oh, good to have you back on the show, Nick. How are things?
Things are fantastic. It's good to have you back on the show, too. It seems like we, a week got away from us. Things came up. A week got away from us. That's okay. We are rocking and rolling and ready to go today.
You are. And I was in Seattle speaking at the Amazon Merch Conference. You heard of this before, Amazon Merch?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, fantastic organization with a lot of motivated individuals. So that's why there was no show last week. And we missed you guys. But first, we want to give a big shout out to our show sponsored today at the BizTube Academy. BizTube Academy is where business owners learn how to dominate with YouTube marketing. You can get 5 advanced YouTube marketing training modules with 19 videos, PDF guides, script templates, and even more. It's very simple to get started. Simply go to biztubeacademy.com and sign up for just $197. You'll get all 5 modules with 19 videos, all the PDF guides, everything that I've ever put together for business owners and entrepreneurs to grow on YouTube. Just go to biztubeacademy.com and start making videos that make sales. Nick, did you hear the news? Really exciting YouTube lawsuit happened this past week with H3 Productions. Nick, you may have heard of this. Ethan Klein of H3 Productions win a landmark fair use case. So that's a really exciting thing. Nick, do you want to explain fair use to our audience?
In a nutshell, let's just go the nutshell version, but fair use is basically you have to remix or you have to remix the content in some way, or you have to put commentary over it or something like that in order to make it different than what the original post is. So as an example, you can't just drop I can't steal one of Owen's videos, or we'll just say download. I won't say steal. I can't just download one of Owen's videos and put it up on my channel. However, if I take one of Owen's videos or 10 of Owen's videos and I say, okay, well, these are 10 of Owen videos' best moments. And then I put those together, which, I mean, it would be hard to compile those, but I'm just saying, if in a good way, because there's so many best moments, Owen, that's what I'm getting at. So basically, if I took 10 of Owen's best moments and I put those together as a compilation, then in that case, that would grant me fair use in theory.
Yeah, the Fair Use Act is basically sort of a law or a standard that allows creators, film directors, documentarians to use other people's work without explicit permission. And, YouTubers do this a lot, right? We do reaction videos to music. We might do a movie review. And what Ethan and Hilla Klein had done is they had taken another YouTuber's video and had done a reaction to it. So they played a clip and then they reacted to it. They gave commentary to it. And this YouTuber sued them and said, you can't use my stuff. He sued them for the rights, and then he sued them for monetary damages. But the Kleins came out on top. And this was a landmark case for all of us in the online space, because we are all playing videos. Somebody's soundtrack might go in the background, and that could open you up to a lawsuit. And this sets the precedent to protect you. Here's just kind of the heart of it. The Klein video is arguably part of a large genre of YouTube videos, commonly known as reaction videos. Videos within this genre vary widely in terms of purpose, structure, and the extent to which they rely on potentially copyrighted material. Some reaction videos, like the Klein video, intersperse short segments of another's work with criticism and commentary, while others are more akin to a simple group viewing session without commentary. Accordingly, the court is not ruling here that all reaction videos constitute fair use. However, because this one included critique and commentary, the clients were able to win, which means if you're a documentarian, if you're doing reaction videos, you need to keep this in mind, that you cannot just use someone else's work. You've got to have meaning and purpose behind it. Still a landmark case, wouldn't you agree, Nick?
Absolutely. And, I'll be honest, as a content creator, like I'm probably going to get, things thrown at my place because of this, but personally, I'm not a fan of the fair use thing. Like, I think that it's good that, people can, kind of get away with it in a sense, but as a content creator, somebody that always creates original content, I think that it's kind of, in a way, unfair to the people that did create the original works, because, you'll see on YouTube all the time, you'll see where, somebody will just watch a video and they will be basically getting ad revenue, or, they'll be able to promote something or whatever because of the effort that another content creator put in. And because of that, I'm honest with you, man, I'm not, this will get me a black eye one of these days, but I'm not a fan of fair use.
Yeah. Well, I hear that. It's a great side story. That really discourages me from starting my Nick Nimmin reaction channel.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that just kind of popped a hole in that balloon, right?
Today, we have a really exciting guest. I've been excited about this show all week for a couple different reasons. Molly Mahoney is a camera confidence coach. She's an author, and she's a FbLive Ninja. After graduating from Chapman University with a BFA in theater and dance, she toured the world professionally as a performer for more than 10 years. She now uses all that she's learned building her performance career in New York, on cruise ships, in Las Vegas, in order to help her students unlock their inner awesome and elevate it so they can share their goodness with clarity, confidence, and joy. We're excited to welcome to the show performance coach Molly Mahoney. Molly, how are you?
Heck yes! I'm amazing! How are you? So this is so good. That's Sharma, Kimberly. I'm so glad so many people are here. And I love being able to see how the master Owen video works things out behind the scenes, y'all. I'm so stoked. It's really cool. Yeah, hi, Tina.
I might pull over the MP3 of that audio clip and then play it in my sound effects next week.
Do it. We'll use the fair use trade or whatever we're talking about with. And Nick, too. So good to be here with Nick also.
We are super excited to have you on the show, Molly. And today's show goes a little bit different from a lot of our shows. Oftentimes we're talking about, how to grow on YouTube and sort of the technical side of putting together video marketing. But you're going to be sharing with us today some tips on performance. Now, I gave everyone sort of the quick background. Give us tell us all a little bit about how you got started and how you ended up here today.
So yeah, I started as a performer. I lived in New York for many years. I toured with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which was super awesome. The musical with the flying car and the Sherman brothers and all that. And while I was on tour, my husband and I got engaged, and we were like, oh, we can't live in this 400 square foot apartment. So we moved from New York to have kids and all of that. Cut to, we have 2 kids and I have 10 jobs, which is really cool and really exhausting. So I like to call it my hashtag busy balls period in my life, where I launched this vocal coaching, performance coaching business, but I was working in so many different places. I'm sure being entrepreneurs, you guys have experienced things like that. And so I decided to launch an online course. I don't know if I've told you this story, Owen, but I launched an online course called Prepared Performer Profits. And the whole purpose was to cure the starving artist syndrome.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Except starving artists don't have money to pay for courses. So it was something that I was like so crazy passionate about and so committed to. And I sold 15 spots in the pilot. It was awesome. Facebook Live came out right around the time of all that. So when I was doing the full big launch, I jumped on Facebook Live as soon as possible, had to steal my husband's iPhone to be able to use it. I was doing some video before that, but not a lot. And like vocal lesson tips, singing tips and stuff. So I went full force to launch this ginormous course. The pilot went super well. Do you know how many sales I had?
Tell me.
A big old 0.
Ooh. Ouch.
Like actually 0.
Ouch.
So I had a panic attack and I realized, okay, so when every coach told me, Molly, you're marketing this to the starving artist, I don't think that's the right ideal client, I probably should have listened to them.
I'll tell you though, that is the way that the performance cookie crumbles, is it not? You know, you go out and you do what you're passionate about, and then you sort of have to deal with the repercussions therein.
So I realized the one thing that was working in that product launch that was like horrible and awful was Facebook Live. I had started to gain traction there. So I switched it and I started, instead of teaching performers how to run a business, I started teaching business owners how to perform. Now I also have loads of performers in my space, which is awesome. It's just who you're speaking to when you speak to your ideal client can change everything. So I made a spreadsheet of a course on how to use Facebook Live in your business using all the crazy awesome business strategies that I had, and then adding in some of that performance stuff, and then adding in some Facebook Ninja tricks that I had learned by diving in and putting it into action. And now I was able to bring in $50,000 in 3 months from a 0 fail to $50,000 extra dollars, which was like crazy awesome.
Wow.
And now we're here and everything's booming and amazing.
Well done.
Hey, Molly, you're a performance coach. You've worked with performers. You've worked with business owners. You've had a lot of success over the last year. Let's dig into the content today. What are the secrets to confidence on camera?
So there is one secret, and Owen, I know you are a performer in your past life as well. So this is something that I actually got secretly from Stanislavski, the Russian acting coach. And what it is on the bottom of this huge chart that he has, the number one thing in being a successful performer is work on oneself. So we have to, and it seems kind of fluffy sometimes, but I will talk to people who have like crazy $1 million businesses and they have a hard time doing this. So I'm going to give you this little exercise really quickly. It's called the Quesadilla of Awesome. And what it is you take everything that you offer in your business, like all of the amazing things that you're putting out into the world via video, and you put it as far away from you as possible. And then what are you left with?
Oneself.
Yourself?
Oneself, right? And then you're like, oh no, because I'm sure even for you guys, you know, you're doing this all the time, but the gremlins creep up. They come in and they talk us out of being, you know, our best self on camera. So I developed this little system, which is you make a list of 20 things that make you a uniquely awesome human being. I call it the Quesadilla of Awesome because everyone has something that makes them uniquely awesome, even if it's just that they make an amazing quesadilla. And so when you dive in, these things cover your skill sets, your activities, your appearance, your values, and the things that you like to eat. And once you dive into all of those, you start to celebrate who you are as a human, and it gives you a better reason to connect with other people on a human level rather than feeling like you're just needing to share content or put things out there. You can actually start to have joy and be yourself, and that will shine through.
Molly, when we do that, when, you know, because I can see some people stripping away everything, right? And then left in a bitter and dark depression. Okay, so when you know, and I often say the devil starts speaking into your ear and telling you, you know, how awful you are. How do we conquer some of the negative Nellies that start whispering in your ear when you strip down all that?
Yeah. So one of the things is, and this, it's like I said, it seems kind of fluffy and silly, but it's not. This is like actually hardcore. So keeping something like a joy journal or something that is like just recording the things that actually bring you that sense of like, yeah, like that sense of this feels good. Right. And for me, everything in my brand is very like, so I know that's there could be different ways that you look at it, what resonates with you, because it's not about being like us on camera. It's about being like you on camera. And you have to start by recognizing, wait a minute, like, what's my why? What, and I have this 3-part why. I'm going to throw like lots of little things at you. This 3-part why, which covers what do you want to do, like the personal goals that you want to achieve by sharing this business or making these sales or whatever you're doing with your video. A global why. So like, what do you want? What difference do you want to make in the world? And then a financial why. Because if we're not making money with this, like maybe there's another reason and it's just a hobby, but really when you start to monetize your videos, that's when you're able to actually make a huge difference. So if you tap into that 3-part why, and like maybe you're not feeling too hot about your global why at the moment, you can tap into those other reasons, right? So we have these like other things that can support us in it. And then the third piece that I love with confidence is deciding. Like when you decide that you're going to do this, even if you're freaked out, you have to come back to the fact that you made a decision and that there's a reason that you're putting yourself out there and doing this. And you've got to just do it scared and put that stuff away and know that each time you move into action, it's going to get better.
Yeah, guys, put a do it scared in the comment section right now if you agree with what Molly is talking about. I absolutely love the do it scared. It reminds me of the first time I made love, first of all. And secondly, it reminds me of what we were just hearing the other day about getting down to what makes you different, right? And I can't remember the conversation that I was having this conversation in, but we were talking about finding what makes you different and really emphasizing that, right? As opposed to trying to get, being like everyone else. Get it down to the core of what you're good at. Is that what this 3-part why does?
Yeah, well, that's what the Quesadilla of Awesome does for sure. And when you start celebrating that, then that's where and when you let your freak flag fly, that's where the other freak flags are going to come out, right? And that's where you're going to work with people who you actually enjoy working with. Because if you pretend to be somebody else, you're going to attract those other people that you're pretending to be. And that's not who I want to work with. I want to work with people who love that I talk fast. Yes. They're not going to care. They're going to want to speed my videos up. And if people have an issue with some of the things that maybe some people don't like about me, they can go somewhere else.
And that's part of where the confidence thing comes in, right? Is basically making that commitment of, you know what, I don't care. If I'm trying to get my people around me. And if somebody doesn't fit into that, there's plenty of other people they can go listen to, plenty of other people on the internet in the world giving advice. So if they don't fit into my crowd, that's fine. There's somewhere else for them. Yeah, and having that confidence to actually nail that down is super important.
And the collaboration versus competition too, like I could have said, oh, and I don't want to come on your video because we're both in video. Like, no, you do. I was telling my husband about you this morning and I was like, he does all this amazing, like, I don't do stuff with YouTube, yo. Like I have my very specific thing that I do. And I know that there's going to be people who like the way that I do it and people who like the way that you do it and people who like the way that you do it and people who like the way that we all do it. And they're going to want to join us. It's, we all have these things. And the more that you can be solid in that, that's where other people will pick up on your confidence as well. And when someone leaves a negative comment, you'll be able to respond to it in a way that actually, I love when I get negative comments now because it's become this awesome thing where we all rally together to stand up for good.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. And it makes logical sense too, right? Because you've spent this first part doing the Quesadilla of Awesome and finding out your strengths. And now you've got this do it scared mentality, but you have, when you start to execute, you've got your reason why, and you've got this clarity on who you are. And so you can move forward with that confidence. Nick and I have seen, both being sort of in the YouTube and video education space, there are people that love Nick, there are people that love me, and there are a bunch of people in the middle that love us both. And that creates this community that will help to grow your video presence. Is that what you're talking about, Molly Mahoney?
Exactly. And there is enough negativity out there in the world and enough people being rude to each other. So the more that we can come together for the greater good of humanity, I mean, I laugh, but it's not funny. Actually, it's super serious.
Actually, really, really depressing. But no, you make a great point, and I think that's what we're trying to do on this show. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Molly Mahoney in the secrets to confidence on camera. Molly, we talked about the quesadilla. We talked about doing it scared. Are we missing anything else?
Yes. And I know you and I have talked about this before also, which is if you are speaking on camera and, you know, not putting on a persona or like acting, even just being yourself on camera, and you think like, oh, I've been speaking since I was about 2 years old. I'm a pro at this. No, like there are things that you need to recognize about yourself as an instrument. So warming up. Hello? Right? So, I mean, you can you can trip on your words. There's all these things that can go wrong, especially when you're live. And so the way to be a prepared performer is by doing this prep work ahead of time. So it's getting to know who you are and treating your body and your voice as the actual instrument that it is that you're bringing to the camera.
I love that. Let's go into that a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some warm-ups that we can do? Are you talking about getting the body warmed up, getting your hands, your lips? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so I have this little acronym, and it is BFAB, B-F-A-B, and I use all these weird letters because it helps me remember things. So it's your breath, and really tapping into your low breath before you go live, before you step on camera, before you step on stage, and not breathing up in your shoulders, right? Way down into your belly and expanding. And then your face, because your face is actually the thing that most people are seeing. So what'd you say?
I do face warm-ups. I do.
Yes.
Live, I will massage my face. I also do kind of like this, you know, this stuff. I have fake teeth up here, so
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
Yeah. I got.
I have fake teeth. I've had them since I was 12, and it's like a huge part of an issue that I have because I have a little bit of a lisp.
Yeah, because your teeth dry up. They don't naturally lubricate with your saliva. So like you'll be talking and then all of a sudden your lip kind of does this pirate thing. And yeah, that's totally funny that you can relate to me on that because I thought that was like my own weird thing.
That is part of our Quesadilla of Awesome. I had a really rude comment on my Facebook page about how I have a lisp and I shouldn't be teaching people how to speak on camera. And it was the best thing that's ever happened because I said, you're totally right. I've had fake teeth since I was 12. Deal with it. That's not really what I said, but I was like, this is exactly why I'm here, to show you that even if you have something like that could make you insecure, you could still do this.
I love it. Be
fast. So breath, face, articulators. So I have taught all different ages, and it was always kind of weird to tell little kids to stick their tongue out. So I developed this thing where you stick your tongue into your cheek. And I realized it's actually better because it adds a little bit of resistance. So I do this whole thing, this tongue stretching. All right. And then lots of tongue twisters and articulators and different exercises like that. And then the last one is your body and how your voice connects with your body. So you want to develop a vocal coloring box so that you can use different vocal tactics. So put your hand on your chest like this. Ready? Everyone do it. Okay, here we go. Ready? We're going to go.
Got it.
Huh. And then you feel how it vibrates in your chest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can also go, woo!
Woo!
It doesn't vibrate, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So recognizing that our sound has different vibrations within our body and that we can, if we're excited, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're going to do this. We're going to use a different resonation than if we're like, whoa, we need to talk down here. Right. And then recognizing that your body's attached to the rest of your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay, Jay.
Man, I'm like really intrigued by these things, Molly. I mean, I consider myself like a grade A on-camera presence. You know what I mean? Like if I can be so bold. But these are phenomenal tactics. How does that knowing where your vibration, how does that help? Does that help control tone, your volume?
Yeah. So I have all these little weird tricks. So there's, okay. So if you warm it up so that you have it's basically like you want to have all of these things readily available to you. Yeah. And so that if you get excited and you don't, we're going to confess this is way too early for me this morning. I never get on camera officially at 9 a.m. But So my voice is like a little more resonant and low right now than it might be on my other videos. But if you are excited and you start talking really high and all of a sudden your voice cracks because you didn't warm up that part of your voice, right? So you just want to have all of these colors available to you so that when your vocal tactic is to like kick some booty and you're like, hey, I got to tell you, you're supporting from your belly because you're breathing, your face gets a little more, and your nasal, you know, it just all of these things open up to you.
Molly, we just went through some really great tips on some personal preparation and how to warm up. What about gear? Does gear help with camera confidence? Or is this, so go into that. Since you already answered it, go into that. How can gear help? How can we be on top of that?
Hold on. First of all, I just realized that my computer is not plugged in, which is like hilarious because that could mean that my computer could die. Hold on, let me plug my computer in. Okay, so I'm grabbing my charger for my computer. That's the first thing, have like power on your computer. And this is actually, I'm so glad we're talking about this because this is something that held me up a little bit when I first started this because it was like the last piece for me to get into place. So I built a really successful vocal coaching business. And so I had lots of business strategy and I had obviously performance strategy. And then I was like, oh, how do I get this stuff together? So I will say there are things that you want to have as like a bare minimum to get started. You don't need to invest millions of dollars into super fancy equipment. Like I bought a fancy mic that Pat Flynn had recommended that he was like, don't buy this mic if you aren't really ready for it. But I was like, no, I need the best thing. And I couldn't figure out how to turn the dang thing on for like a year. So don't do that. Really, like I just now finally set up an external camera, which I haven't gotten to work with FbLive yet, but I'm just using my computer. Like when I first started this and did that $50,000 in sales, it was with my phone. The thing that I think is important, as we talked about earlier, is some sort of microphone to make things sound a little clearer. I have issues because I talk so loud. So Owen, if you have the solution for that, because you talk loud too, I would love to know it.
Yeah, I turn my volume halfway down. Like my gain on my microphone is only halfway up because same thing. Like I might be like, whoa, like out of nowhere. And it's just this loud kaboom.
Yeah.
A mixer with a compressor will fix that too. If you get a mixer
so I had one and I gave it to somebody. I should get that again. And so now after doing this for a year, I'm finally up leveling my tech stuff.
Which goes to show that you can do fine without that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where, you got started on your phone, which is the big takeaway. You got started. That's the biggest takeaway. And 2, you did it with your phone.
Yeah. And then I did a little bit to get my set in place, but I will share because this is something that I hear so often from people. And I really want to empower you if this is something that you're struggling with. My house is like all windows. So I couldn't figure out where to go to put any sort of set. So I used to sit on top of my desk and try and use the space above my desk.
We'd like to see more live streamers, more, on-camera presence using some of these tactics that you're using because you are right up against your wall. You don't have that I have or that Nick has.
And that's it can be a bummer. Like with my DSLR, it's like I don't have that depth of field. Yeah. But I literally like my music stand my knees would hit it. It's like I have to sit with my feet over the bottom of my music stand. And so now that I've gotten to the point where things are more successful, my amazing, awesome friend Audra, who I shouted out earlier, she's actually going to redesign my whole studio. We're moving my piano out of here. But I was doing this professionally, hardcore, like multiple 6-figure business for a year before I actually am taking the time and the money to do that.
That's great.
Nice.
We didn't talk about lights though, really. Can I just say how much I love the fact that you guys have really bright lights on your faces? Because sometimes people will do things where it's like really dim. And then I feel like the crispness of you coming through the camera, we miss out on really connecting with you. So I love like an extra bright face and then a darker background, or sometimes the background is so bright that people's faces get lost in it.
Yes.
That's a bummer.
The more sort of unique you can get, you can draw on your own personality, and that's going to come off on camera as more confident, more vibrant, more alive. And that's what makes for a great performance.
And the key to that is that you make sure that you base that uniqueness on your actual real self, as opposed to seeing, oh, Dexter did black and white, so I'm going to do black and white. Right.
No, I like that you keep emphasizing that. You mentioned that earlier too, and I really like that you keep emphasizing the importance of basically amplifying yourself instead of trying to be like other people. That's so powerful. That's so huge, and it's so important. And a lot of people will, like you're just saying, they'll look at what somebody else is doing and they'll say, you know what, I want to do it exactly like that, instead of trying to find their own voice, instead of trying to, figure out what works best for them, instead of tapping into themselves to basically let themselves out of the box instead of trying to be like somebody else. That's just awesome.
And I love all the things that you said. It's so important. So you said all these things, and I want to add one, which is, and it's scary.
Yeah, it is. Because
it's vulnerable. It's like naked. It's like, are people going to think it's crazy if I talk about my fake teeth? Are people going to, I did a video on FbLive and I totally took my hair down and did a video with no makeup on. Like, y'all, we can actually just be ourselves, and that would freak some females out to do stuff like that. So
especially with all the beauty tutorials and makeup tutorials that are on YouTube. My wife watches a ton of that stuff, and she saw one where the girl took her makeup off and she was showing the power of makeup. What we applauded was her confidence in being able to show who she really is. So at the end of the day, she's like, hey, I got 200,000 subscribers. So you can think what you want, of me. And that is what helps you watching this show, listening to this show, deliver a better performance. Molly Mahoney, I want to ask you, recently you had some amazing success growing your show using a very new, very exciting tool. Tell us about this.
You mean a chatbot?
That's it. You got it. Oh my goodness gracious.
So let's get into real nitty gritty though. So I come on camera and I'm like, let's have fun, let's perform, let's have joy. But I got to tell you, behind all the sparkles and the magic, there is like hard tech business strategy happening here. So this is what it is. I have been building my ManyChat subscriber base. ManyChat, M-A-N-Y. I call it ManyChat sometimes because people think I say mini. And it is a way to automate your Facebook Messenger. So I've been doing little things to build it over time. There's a lot of different ways that you can use it. And there's one way that I used it specifically that allowed me to get a reach of 1 million people organically on a video.
Unbelievable.
Let's talk about that.
What? Okay. And I have actually a case study that I wrote up on it as well. I actually made a link also. It's thepreparedperformer.com/Owen. And then you'll be able to experience Mollybot, who's my bot also. And okay, here's what happened. So I have this weekly show that I do every Monday morning on my business page. And I was planning on doing a show about bots. And I knew that it was something that was like a really hot topic that my audience really interested in and that a lot of people were interested in. I was solving a problem, which is email open rates stink, right? And messenger automation open rates are amazing. And it's just awesome. So I was doing a training on that. So I posted a photo on my business page that said, hey, I'm going to be offering a free training on this subject. I didn't tell them when it was. I didn't tell them that it was Facebook Live. I just told them it was a free training. I said, if you want access to it, comment below with the word, whatever, I'm in. The words I'm in. So they comment below with that, and I had it set up with a bot. Now here's the magic. The bot sent them the link to the pre-scheduled Facebook Live. Because when we pre-schedule a Facebook Live, we can't boost it.
Exactly.
Right? So the bot sent them a link to the pre-scheduled Facebook Live, and then I did an ad with that image. So technically, I was promoting, right, doing an ad to my video without actually doing an ad to my video.
Love it.
Makes sense? And when people commented below with that to get access to the training, they were also subscribing to my list. And because it was a hot topic, right, that people were really interested in, I had loads of shares on that initial post as well. So my goal is always to have more organic reach than I do paid reach with any of my ads. I think I spent $90 total on that image ad. And I just did it a couple days before. And then I was able, by that point, I had built a subscriber list of just over 2,000 people, maybe around 2,000 in In ManyChat, yeah. Now we just passed, we're at like 3,100, which is super cool. But maybe it was like 2,700 at the time. And so then I sent out a broadcast to everyone reminding them that this is going to be happening. And I sent them the actual link to the actual video, right? And somehow magically enough people had seen that initial post, commented below it, showed up for the actual video, and shared that poop out of it. And so that video had a reach of over 1 million people, like 2,000 reactions, over 1,000 comments. It was crazy.
That's incredible.
Nice.
And
Well done.
You share all of this with some screenshots and whatnot.
Yeah, it has screenshots and everything on that case study. Yeah. So you can see how to, because within ManyChat, it's actually like, I love it now and I can do it kind of second nature, but it's confusing. There's lots of little steps in order to make the automation work the way that you want it. So I did some screenshots to show you this specific, call it a growth tool, which is the way that you're building this subscriber base.
Yeah. Fantastic. And we use ManyChat for this show. We use it for our other shows as well. I love Facebook Messenger bots. And with the new, they've got a new Zapier integration. So now someone adds to your ManyChat, you can actually dual put them in your email list as well. And now you've got them on both accounts. Molly, that is so incredible. And I think that was sort of like that, seeing your case study like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I stopped everything. It was like the phone stopped ringing, you know, and all of a sudden it was like, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. So I want to encourage you guys, type case study in the comment section. Molly will go back, make sure you guys get the link. Or I think you say Molly,
it's thepreparedperformer.com/Owen.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put that link in the description box so you guys can check that out.
And then the link is actually really cool. It's a messenger link. So it'll actually, when you click on it, you'll get a message from me, from my chatbot right away. Mollybot will send you the link to the case study, which is another idea that you guys can use when you're having people grab things for free from you.
That's going to do it for us today, guys. Molly, amazing to have you on the show. I had so much fun. How can we stay in touch with you and follow all the stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, I would love to have you join me on Monday mornings at 10 o'clock over on my business page, The Prepared Performer, which is super fun. And there's like loads happening there. There's a million videos and tutorials and awesomeness and entertainment, singing, and all kinds of fun.
I love it. I can't wait to check it out. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for tuning in and watching the Business of Video podcast. Remember, you can sign up to become a Business of Video insider, plus get our show notes, additional training tips and tools when you type YouTube in the comment section below, or visit the link, thebusinessofvideopodcast.com. Until next time, keep marketing. It's your only hope.
Thank you for listening to the Business of Video podcast. If you like the show, give us a review on iTunes or share this episode on social media now. Join us next time on Facebook Live. Just visit businessofvideopodcast.com and subscribe to the newsletter updates. This podcast is brought to you by Tuber Tools and BizTubeAcademy.com.